rather not, because I'd rather look ahead than look behind. But man, oh man, isn't it great that the press and celebrity have finally refound their footing to go after the same people they were going after who just happen to be in power now, but weren't in power then? There's nothing heroic about taking on the quote establishment now if you're a celebrity, or if you're on the left, if you're in media. Come on now. We see right through you. We totally see right through you. You just are still mad about the election. You're still mad that Trump is your president, and you're pouting at this point. All it is pouting, and it's not even a good job of pouting. To some journalists' credit, let's also recognize that Michelle Wolf, through her, some would say merciless barrage on Kellyanne Conway and the Trump administration and Sarah Huckabee Sanders and the rest, some are saying that they set the cause of journalism back because as if this is a reflection of what the leadership of the White House Correspondents Association feel is appropriate for their dinner, which, again, they've walked it back some with, correspondents that didn't apologize for what was said, but turned it into a dressing down somewhat of what Michelle Wolf said and how it really wasn't in the spirit of the evening. Psh, whatever. We've heard, these non-apology apologies before. What we're seeing is what may be emblematic of what the cognoscenti of the press, the White House Correspondents Association, really think of the president and how they want to be known. If you were not familiar with how members of the press are and all you saw was this, you're convinced that there's a conspiracy against the president, there's a conspiracy by the media to take him down, and that all mainstream media is bad. If you're someone who is a conservative that's just pro-Trump, this is more confirmation bias for you. But if you are a reasonable, free-thinking person, foreshadowing there, we're going to talk about Kanye later, if you're a reasonable, free-thinking person, what you're saying to yourself is, what does it matter the content of the jokes? The double standard is what matters. You can say whatever you want about President Trump. I'm sure that he'll let you say whatever you want. He's an advocate of, the Constitution and free speech. But at the same time, the more you open your mouth, the more you're going to show your true colors. I think that's why the president is letting the press run all over him, and why Hollywood is going unchecked, and why comedians are not being checked by the president for the jokes that they're telling. Because the more they open their mouths, the more they show off who they are. The more crass jokes about Kellyanne Conway and Sarah Huckabee Sanders' appearance and Ivanka Trump, we didn't even mention that, but man, the jokes about Ivanka were harder as well. But the more we allow that speech to perpetuate, the more you're going to see who they are. And the more you see who they are, the less you're going to like and support them. And that's when you start seeing changes happen. You saw it with the ratings for Roseanne and what ABC did in putting that show on in the way that they have with the storylines that they have. You'll probably see it in the press too. So that's one piece of Politi-Tainment that happened in the past week. When we come back, we're going to talk about the other big piece of Politi-Tainment news involving Kanye West and obsessions by politicos and gadflies like me with what I like to call the flavor of the month. What do I mean by that? Tune in at the break to find out. Boy, did I screw that up. But that's okay. Gene Baradelli behind Enemy Lines. We'll be back right after these brief words. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com. Check out the website. Check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on. Make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines Radio is all about being right. No, seriously, it is. If you ever listen to Russ Gallo or me go back and forth on some issue, we always want to make sure that we remember who said what and when we said it. That's why we go to goonrecord.com. It's a brand new social media website. Challenge people on what they believe, whether it's in politics, sports, entertainment, finance, whatever. There's a category for you at goonrecord.com. Check it out right now. Tell us, what do you stand for? It's time for you to go on record. Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Gene Baradelli, back behind Enemy Lines. Doing a show on Politi-Tainment this week. Given the wide-ranging stories we've seen from the White House Correspondent to this story we're going to talk about. If you would have told me a year ago that you'd be talking about Kanye West on Behind Enemy Lines radio, I would have said you're nuts. I would have said you're absolutely crazy. The guy isn't worth my time. He's not even, politically valuable to talk about him. Why in the world would we do that? Well, I've been proven wrong because we're talking about Kanye right now. Kanye West, music artist, I guess you call him an agent provocateur of pop culture. I don't listen to a lot of his stuff. I'm told that it's quite out there and progressive not in a political sense, but in a sense that he pushes boundaries of music and his own genres of hip hop and urban music, and that he's just an out there kind of guy, an artist that's quite eccentric in a lot of ways. And the reason why we're talking about him on this show is because apparently he loves Donald Trump. I mean, the last time he surfaced on, political radar that I remember, he was talking negatively about President George W. Bush and what happened in Katrina and how, George W. Bush hates black people, something like that. And I discounted him as a nut then. And now all of a sudden he's talking about how much he loves Donald Trump and has put out a whole bunch of tweets showing an evolved sense of thinking when it comes to conservative politics and conservatism. And all of a sudden he's the flavor of the month. People out there love Kanye now. The same people that were saying it's so irrelevant to hear what political views are of celebrities and, stay in your lane and all that are now going, Kanye's with us. Oh, happy day, Kanye's with us. No. Sorry. Kanye West's opinion didn't matter to me before he said he liked Donald Trump. Kanye West's opinions don't matter to me after he says he likes Donald Trump. Because Kanye West's opinions just don't matter to me. They have no value. I don't see a reason to put the point of view of a celebrity on a pedestal. If someone has something substantive to say, I'll go along with it. If someone doesn't, I'll call them out on it. But I'm not going to be looking for people to put on my jersey, so to speak, put on the laundry, and be on our side, and cheer and be so happy about that. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. But Kanye has been out there. He's been watching videos of different people, and people think he's turned conservative, and He said on Twitter that he likes the way Candace Owens, who is another flavor of the month, who, you know, they call her the red pill something or other. Listen, I like a lot of the stuff she does, and she has a lot of good things to say. I know she's on a tour with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point right now, and she's doing a lot of great things. But she's another example to me of the idea of the political celebrity that we need to get away from. I'm sure Candace Owens has a lot of great things to say. I've listened to a lot of the things she said, and I do admire a lot of the things she said. The idea of, you know, people not embracing victimhood, but they should be embracing victorhood and looking forward and not looking behind. And, you know, why would anyone want to continue to be oppressed? And, you know, the lack of a better word, the plantation mentality that she talks about of, you know, minority voters and Democrats, which we might get to a little later on in the show. Who knows? But I don't believe in flavors of the month. I remember once upon a time we were talking about the views of some preteen kid whose name I don't even remember because they were a flavor of the month. I remember at one time Milo Yiannopoulos was a flavor of the month and everybody loved him, and he was going to be the keynote speaker at CPAC, except, oops, we found out something we don't like about him, whether it be, you know, his past sexual history when he was younger, or views on pederasty. I think it was something like that. And oops, he's no longer the flavor of the month. So we move on to the next flavor of the month, who just now happens to be Candace Owens. Everybody loves her right now. I remember a time when, you know, a good friend of the show, Alan West, when he was in Congress, was the flavor of the month, and he was everywhere. He was on, you know, on the news and doing, you know, interviews, and Fox and Hannity and all these places. I don't see him around that much anymore. I remember a time when Daniel DeLayden was the flavor of the month because of all the videos he was coming out with Planned Parenthood. Don't see him around that much anymore. We need to get away from the celebrity in politics. And that includes celebrities like Kanye, who, by the way, not conservative, guys. Whether he is doing this to provoke people, to gather attention, to, you know, put his own name out there, I don't know. Am I, you know, do I think that he is sincere in his free thought notion that he's putting out there, that we need to, you know, break away from hive mind thinking and all that? Yeah, that's great. And I think as an artist, he probably exemplifies that. We've seen that with, you know, a whole bunch of artists throughout time, though, that artists are free-thinking people. That's why we get upset when we see so many, you know, late-night comedians who are supposed to be these creative people all doing the same joke, the same one-note punchline that we saw from Michelle Wolf at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Because the creativity is not there anymore. So I applaud Kanye for, you know, talking about free thinking and creativity, and for having an opinion, at least, that goes against the hive mentality. That's great and all that. I'm fine with that. But I don't really want to know his position on North Korea. I don't really care what his position is on TPP or any number of issues, Second Amendment and all these things. It's another opinion out there, but it's not an influencing opinion to me, and it really shouldn't be. All the people who are out there who are newsmakers that I listen to and I respect, and a lot of them are, you know, I hate plugging the competition, but, you know, people like Ben Shapiro or Laura Ingraham, people who are out there not just putting their opinion out there, but putting, you know, facts out there in support and giving a reasonable basis for it. Something that I can then independently verify later on. That's great. That's what I'm all about. I'll listen to anybody's opinion. I'll listen to people on the left more than I listen to people on the right, so I can hear what they have to say, form my own opinion about it, say whether it's right or wrong, and prove it with my own independent evaluation. That's the way it should be. But just to mindlessly go from saying, oh, I don't like Kanye, he said something bad about George W. Bush, to, oh, now I love Kanye because MAGA and he's wearing the hat and he took a picture with Donald Trump. That's not how this works, folks. That's not how any of this works. We can't jump